will become this, and you won't have L3 and R3. So, you know, I don't know. Then what's this? Oh, please don't tell me. Don't tell me this is L2 and R2. What is this? Oh, it's... With Valentine's Day right around the corner, you need to make sure you use our browser extension. Go and download Honey because it is the... Oh, wait. Oh, wait. No. I do not have an association with that scummy brand. And look what they're doing to influencers. Anyways, welcome back, Deadheads. Or welcome for the first time, new Deadheads. Today, we're going to take a look at Datafrog's newest handheld. But first, remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode of our content. Anyways, let's hop in and unbox this thing and see if it's any good. All right, so let's get right in it. The model RG36 game console. So unlike many other boxes, this is more along the lines of a Powkitty or an Ambernick. It's very basic box. It does have, you know, an outline of the unit. I don't know if this is to scale. It makes me wonder if this is to scale since it's covered in the complete page, but very minimalist, which not terrible. Over here, we do have the R36 chip, open source, 21 emulators, and an RBG light. We did get the purple colorway in the 64 gig model. This is an open source console, RG36. So, ooh, miyoo. I hope that's not miyoo elect. Over here, there's our eye protection, guys. 640 by 480, so a 4:3 ratio screen. So everything on this so far is exactly what we've come to know from these 3.5-inch handhelds. So there's an overview of the handheld itself with the different ports and switches. It does have 1 gig of DDR3, 3.5-inch, and a 32 milliamp hour battery. So open source, RG Shenzhen Ugame Electronic Company is distributing or making this one. And it's Datafrog, okay? So, you know, Datafrog has made out some surprising handhelds like the SF2000. So maybe this one can step up and be right there with the R36s. I don't know, guys, but so far, everything here is along the lines of the Gam Ninja, the K36, the R36, the RGB 36, the R36 Pro or 40S Pro, all those handhelds, it's right along the lines of that. So let's take this thing out of the box and let's get our first impressions. Voila! Okay, so let's get this out of here. And typical box and packaging. And let's see here. And we do have our USB A to C. It's a white cord. All right, we have wipes, so hopefully there's a screen protector. We have our manual and our aligner. And guys, what is the deal? Am I just getting ripped off here? How come this is like yet another one where I don't actually have a screen protector unless it's been pre-applied? But if that's the case, what is the point of giving me the screen protector afterwards? I don't know. So RG36 open source console user manual. So pretty nice manual, pretty nice. So it's a thick manual, has a lot to it. Save position, exit, RetroArch, pause game, advanced settings, TF card, charging. When it starts blinking, it's time to charge the device, connect the DC charger. If it runs out of power after the console automatically shut down, restart, press and hold the power button for 12 seconds. So that's nice. And again, the specs right here for this. So functionally, this is an R36s or an Ambernick, you know, well, Ambernick's H700, but an R36s functionally for the CPU, the screen size, the ratio, the Mali, GPU, everything. And here's other languages. So, yeah, no screen protector, guys. So I don't know what's going on with that. Not sure. But let's get this thing out and let's start to look at this. Okay, so immediately right off the bat, you know, with these vertical handhelds, without the power to really do some really good streaming with Wi-Fi, which just doesn't have Wi-Fi, or you know, a CPU. I just don't like the sticks like this normally, but I mean, let's just try them out and see. They're switch style sticks, so you know, typical sticks here. They feel fine. They feel okay. And of course, the big stick here is this RGB that's on here, so they feel fine. The D-pad, again, in this lower position for a vertical is not my preferred position. Just the way you hold it with a grip, it would be fine, but just not my preferred position here. But first in the hands, this feels pretty good. The back of it, the plastic seems good. It seems, you know, like it was well enough made. Let's try this D-pad. Very soft D-pad. Very quiet. So the D-pad's not, it doesn't feel terrible, but I don't know. It feels a little weird. So I'm not quite sure about the D-pad yet. I don't know. It's not bad. Okay, so the D-pad's okay, stick's okay. Let's try our buttons. Oh, those are quiet, guys. Listen. Oh, look, they're connected. Oh my, let's see how many are connected. You know, I don't like when they're connected like that. It looks like they're all connected. Look at that. I'm pressing that down and they're all going at once. So I don't love that. It is quiet and they're nice size buttons. But yeah, they're just pushing on each other like that. So I don't know if that's going to be a problem. Let's see this. Whoa, that's loud. Okay. So that's loud. So everything's pretty quiet. You know, if you're playing and you need some quietness, D-pad's a little clicky loud. Buttons are real quiet though. And that's loud. Same screen. This is probably the identical. There's probably just, God, thousands and thousands of these 640 by 480 screens being pumped out for all these different handhelds. On the side here, we do have our power button and a reset button. So typical there for that. On the bottom, we do have a DC port and an OTG port. So hopefully this will support Wi-Fi. Well, depending on what OS is on here. And a headphone jack. And then we have our TF slot OS over here. Our volume rocker. So did I miss the TF slot on this side? Yes, TF slot over here. So it does have dual. And then guys, what is this? Okay, you remember earlier this year we reviewed the R39s, the 4-inch, supposedly 4-inch R36s, and it only had those two huge L and R buttons. Look at this. There's no L2 or R2. There's just a huge, loud, very clicky L and R button on the back. So that's, I don't know, something about this is awkward. It's awkward to hold. Again, it's not wonderful. I don't know, but I don't know. I mean, so you're not gonna have L2 or R2, or L2 and R2 will become this, and you won't have L3 and R3. So I don't know. Then what's this? Oh, please don't tell me. Don't tell me this is L2 and R2. What is this? Oh, it's the RGB light. Okay, so this is the RGB light. Here's your speaker. Yeah, it looks like your speaker. So backfiring speaker and a function button. So that's different. Game console, the RG36. Okay, so, and then you have your battery here and a battery door. So it looks like you have to take a screw to the battery door out. Okay, so this is, I mean, it doesn't feel a whole lot different in the hand comparatively to the R36s, the K36, any of those others, this RGB 40S Pro, pretty similar. There's a texture here. I don't know if I can get it. I'm gonna scratch it. And I kind of dig the texture, but this thing is sort of, I don't know, boxy and not ergonomically just wonderful, okay? Especially these huge, sort of hard to press L and R buttons. So not gonna win bonus points on there for that with me. And guys, this thing is, I think I picked it up at the same price you can get an R36s, so it's got to really wow if it's going to do better. It's certainly not at this point, but it's the size of an R36s or a K36s, and it's got the RK3326, so we know how this is going to perform. So let's just let's compare this to an Ambernic. All right, so to get a little size comparison here, we have the RG35XX without sticks, same 640 by 40, 3.5-inch screen. We have our new contender here. We have the RG36 with its blingy RGB lights. And then we have the RG40XXV, which we love quite a bit. Now this is a 4-inch screen, so a bigger screen, but you can see that the 3.5-inch screen falls somewhere, or with the sticks, it falls somewhere in between the size of these two Ambernics. So just to give a comparison there, the sizes, that's kind of where it falls. The 3326 and the H700s, they're just so close. There's not, you know, a significant difference between the two of them. If this was running a 3566, like the RGB 20 Pro was, you would probably be seeing this have a little advantage over these two. But in fact, let's see what it looks like compared to the RGB 20 Pro. All right, so next to the RGB 20 Pro, again, this is a 3.2-inch screen, so it's much taller and narrower. But again, you have the sticks in line. You have the sticks like this. Guys, I just don't know if a handheld is ever going to convince me that this is the way to go when you're doing vertical. So I don't know, but so far I still prefer it like this. Now, once you get into, if we ever get into PS3 and above and like that, then yeah, I'll probably be wanting maybe this sort of style. But for right now, I just think that this is much better. So that just kind of give an overview of that. But let's get this thing booted up and just start doing a little testing of the games. All right, so here we go, guys. What are we going to get? We're going to get miyoo elect like always. All right, RG36 open source console. I thought this thing was going to light up. Oh, we have ArkOS. Look at that. Okay, so ArkOS. All right, so it's already off to a better start with that. My few criticisms about the layout of the handheld are already tempered with the fact that we have ArkOS running on this. And yes, here's our RGB lights. So essentially, if you always wanted your R36s to have RGB lights and sticks like this, that's kind of what we're getting here. Now, again, we have this little dedicated button back here, and you can, let's see what it does. All right, so we're cycling through the different colors. Oh, look at there. All right, so it's kind of humorous, and oh, thank God you can turn it off. Okay, so that's nice. So you have some physical control over the RGB lights. So I gotta say, that's kind of nice. I thought it was humorous when I first heard of it, but I'm not gonna lie, if I'm playing in the middle of it and I start it and I like get annoyed by the lights, I like that I can just do that and I don't have to actually get out of the menu or whatever. But let's take a look at these lights in a little bit lower light and just see how bright these things are. They're pretty bright. Pretty bright. And it looks like you have about 8 different solid colors, and then you have the rainbow circling color. So again, I can kind of see how that's a pretty good advantage. You're, you know, playing a game and you just, oh man, why'd I turn those lights on? Let me turn those off. They're annoying me. You can just do this really quick instead of going into a menu and changing it. So I'm going to give it some points for that. I actually think that is pretty good and something that I think this is going to earn a little bit of recognition for. Also very happy that this thing has ArkOS. So yeah. So this thing is a RK3326. And we already have a very good idea of how this is going to play from a CPU standpoint. Now, again, if you're used to using hotkeys and maybe you assign some hotkeys on the back for your L2 and R2, that's kind of a shame. I don't know what's going on with this. You know, I don't know why the R39s did it. I get that these guys have to differentiate themselves some way so they don't get sued. So it's not just a straight up clone, but kind of just don't really understand the thinking between this trend right here. You know, maybe if you're going to do this, you know, maybe have, I don't know, maybe it's like down here somewhere have an L2 and R2. Nobody's tried that. I mean, there's other ways to do things like this. But let's see what version of ArkOS we're running here. So we're running April 24th, 2024. I don't know if this is essentially the R36s build. I don't know. We'll do a little messing around with it to see. But you know, we know what this is going to do, guys, from the standpoint of this. It's going to play, you know, up to PS1 pretty well. And these are the games that it came with. We'll kind of look through here. Now, see, they've got some PSP. It's, you know, PSP on the 3326 is hit and miss. This isn't widescreen, so it's not the best sort of experience for that. Dreamcast is going to be okay. Some games, depending on others, especially if it's doing that. Now, DS ought to be fine. Game Boy Advance. So, you know, on this 640 by 480, 4:3 ratio screen, you're going to get some pretty decent, you know, old school retro gaming, which is what our channel's all about, retro gaming. So can't say that that's too bad of it. But, you know, as I'm playing through this and kind of just testing this out, I gotta say that the D-pad is not bad. The D-pad is functioning pretty much like I would have expected it to function. I don't really have any issue with that. It's sort of playing at the level I kind of hoped it would, as far as pulling off moves. It feels soft, and it just felt a little weird before I got into the games. But, you know, now that I'm playing in the games and kind of just running through the motions, I gotta say, the only part I don't like about it, again, is its location down here. I would much rather have it up here, especially playing something like Game Boy Advance, where you are going to use the shoulder buttons quite a bit. Although you can remap all this stuff. And this thing is loud, so let me turn this down a little bit. And so again, I'm not just real super excited about where they placed this D-pad. It's also not only that it's just below, it's kind of off-centered over here. So, I mean, it kind of makes me feel like holding it at an angle a bit, you know? So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of interesting how it's like that, offset like that. So, you know, it's just something to think about here as we play a little bit of this Street Fighter right here. This is, you know, there's a flood of these guys. The truth of this is there's so many of these, and they're all trying to do something a little bit better than the RG35XX did when it came out of the miyoo Mini Plus. And again, the software and ecosystem, and it looks like it's using the circle pad, the joystick, if you want to use the joystick. Not the best way to play a Street Fighter game, but let me. So yeah, I'm getting my moves off. So I'd say the D-pad is not awful. It's not horrendous. So again, is the RGB lights, you know, oh, I forgot my lights. Press this hardware button and turn it on. Oh, I don't like that light while I'm playing. I mean, is that something that's going to set this apart enough to make you choose this over an R36s? Because they're running at about the same price. And they, you know, functionally from a standpoint of CPU, GPU, RAM, software, it's an R36s. The shell and the screen is pretty similar. So you got to ask yourself, taking away the extra shoulder buttons and the addition of the RGB lights, is it enough? And the shape of this. So let's talk about what I did like and what I didn't like as we wrap up this video. All right, so I think it's pretty clear. The first thing that I did not like about this is I just don't like that the D-pad is where it's at. I don't know if it would be a little bit better if it was moved over a little bit or not. It's where it's at. It makes me just, I don't know, angle the handheld. It's just not natural for me. So I don't like the placement of that. I don't like the missing L2 and R2. I will say I like how flat this is. So this little flat design without it jutting out, nice. So let's see more of that. That's the two biggest things that I don't really like about this. Aside from this, as far as the things that I like about it, I like the RGB lighting. I like the dedicated button. I thought it was a little silly, but you know, now that I kind of see a use for it, I kind of like it, that in, you know, in the middle of playing and you know, playing a game, I can just change it. I don't have to go into the menu. I don't have to go into any sort of setting. I can just go in and change it right there really quickly, or just turn it off if I don't want to have it on. So I really kind of like that. I do like the colorways. I like the price of this. I like that it comes with ArkOS and it supports custom firmware. So these are all very favorable things for it. I forgot to mention this, I did not like the way the buttons are sort of connected like that. I haven't had any issues with input, but over time, I just feel like these will wear out faster. And I've always thought that, you know, especially if you can see it has a clear separation there, I just really thought it would have done better. If I'm being completely honest, and out of all these handhelds I've been trying lately, this one, it brings lighting. I mean, that's all it brings to the table. It brings some RGB lighting. And I know there's some of you out there that just love RGB lighting. And so maybe this is enough for you to choose this over an R36s. I don't know, but it's not a bad handheld. This is still firmly in the category of e-wasteland. You know, still splurge for the miyoo Mini Plus if you want the 3.5 inch or the Anbernic RG35XX, or the H version, and you're going to get an ecosystem and a much better experience. But if you're willing to stay in that $30 range, this is decent. It's decent with lights. It's got a decent speaker to it. And it's going to play a large portion of retro games if you haven't picked one up. But for those of you that watch the channel and those of you who have got already 1 or 2 3.5 inch verticals, I don't know if the lighting is enough to, you know, convince you to get this. For me, it's not enough. I'll stick to my miyoo Mini or my, you know, RG35XXH. So anyways, guys, that's my thoughts on this. Again, I do like seeing Datafrog try something a little better. I haven't tried everything Datafrog's done, but from what I've seen, this might be their best product, best well-made product. And I encourage them to continue to make new products and try to do better. And you know, there's a lot worse handhelds out there, guys. If you end up with one of these and as a gift, or give this as a gift, it's not bad. And with the competition, as more of these come out, and some of them are actually decent, it just makes the R36s competition more and so, and you know, hopefully we'll make the price of that go down or innovate even better. Well, Deadheads, that's been yet another first look and unboxing of yet another vertical 3.5 inch handheld. Not sure how many more we need. I know I got a couple of more on the way to review, so there's more coming, Deadheads. Always we're going to look and see if we can find that hidden gem hiding amongst all this e-waste. Anyways, remember to love your hugged ones and hug your loved ones, because tomorrow is never promised. But this has been another review, Deadheads. Dead Fred out.